YouTubers. Hey, today's the day. I'm celebrating my over 5,000 subscribers. And as I announced last week and before, that after 5,000 subscribers, we was going to have a random drawing to give away one of my walking sticks. I've decided to mail to Hawaii and Alaska and Canada. Anyway, all my friends in Australia, Europe, all different parts of the world are going to receive $100 cash due to the shipping charges. The shipping charge costs more than the walking stick. And the walking stick that I give away are valued at around $100. And a little more on the drawing. You'll have a word that I'm going to give you that you have to use that word in a comment. And this is going to be ongoing for a week. I want to give my subscribers enough time to come back and sign up. But you're going to get the secret word later on in the video to use in the comments, no matter when you come back. But next Saturday is when we're going to have the random drawing. You're going to see it right here on this channel, and you'll have 1 week to send me an email claiming your prize. I'll wait on that email, and after 1 week, there'll be another drawing. Get another name, and we're going to continue on like that week after week until we give away a walking stick. The key is only those in this video are going to be in the drawing. So let's get those comments rolling. Share it with your friends today, and look for the secret word a little later on. So let's get to work on today's Nordic Axe walking stick. All right, this next step is to get your handle fitted in the axe. So you go find your widest point, get your pencil, and get right down in there and get an outline of that eye of your axe. All right, that looks pretty good there. See, a lot of that crack that we see there is going to be ground off. So now we can start shaping that and getting ready for that axe head. As you can see here, get yourself clamped up. Get your stick to stick out over a bench far enough where you can get to it. After I get the axe hole marked out, then I get it roughed out with a grinder. I do that by standing right back over the end, have this lined up, and I have that, see that pencil mark. Now I'm going down close to that pencil mark, then I'm going to get a rasp out and do the rest of it. Get the idea, using a grinder to get it close, then use a rasp, because if you take too much wood off of it, it's very, very difficult to put wood back on. Well, I'll tell you what, I have 2 tools here I've been looking at. Have this rasp file that I may use, and have a finer file that I may use. But I look into this end of it here, and I can see my pencil mark where I fitted. So I'm going to start out with this pencil sander. I'm going to take it down to that line there, close to that line before I start filing. It just saves a lot of elbow grease if you have one of these. Let's just see how that'll work. I took down about a 1/2 inch of the end there, and I'm watching as I'm going down, and I can see my pencil line here on the end. You see, I don't expect that axe to go on there yet. But what we're going to do is take the rasp now, and I'm going to bring it on down a little closer and watch the end of that. And I don't always particularly stay in my comfort zone. And this is definitely not one of my comfort zones, but I find it interesting, so I'm just going to try my level best to get an axe head properly fit on this walking stick. I'm going to turn the stick over now, and we'll kind of go this way and try to get this bottom rolled in the way I want it. It's getting very close now to fit that axe, or to see how it starts. To get it started, all I want to do is get it to go up on there, and then I can start taking the rest of it down. Well, keep on going here until that starts to go on. Get a mallet. Okay, now I went and fetched a mallet here, and it's on there. That goes on there real snug right now, right where it's at. So I want to take the rest of this down now to right in there is where I have to take it to. So I'm going to make a mark. Don't want to go no further than that right there. I'll put the hood on and get the finger sanders, some people call them. I leave just a feather edge right here and get the rest of it down with a rasp. So I'm going to, because I don't want to take too much off of it. So we'll follow a little bit with this rasp now and try to get it down to that line. I'm still watching this line, but now I'm watching this little area, just a little fingernail thick area right here that I know is going to have to come off. The sander that I use works really swell for this. I'll have a link to the one I use in the description if you want to check it out, and they're very handy. I know it's not going to fit yet, but I want to look at it. Let's see, that just goes this way. Okay, that slides on as we expected, right down to where I'm going to put a pencil mark here on both sides, and that'll tell me about where it goes to. Now, I'm going to turn it over, look at the other side, real good. Now we'll just pop that off of it. It's got a ledge on both sides, so we got a little bit to play with here yet. And it's kind of boring to watch, so I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to continue to clean that up until that axe fits down on there real nice, and then we'll be back. Now I have it down on there about as far as I want it. There's a little sticking out here, and we'll eventually grind that down. That has to be level with the top of the axe head. And what I'm going to do is I'll need to taper a little, cut a little of this off here. You can see a line there. Taper a little bit here. It's looking pretty good. So let's take that out, and I'll get this fitted, and then we're going to go over and start cutting the groove here for the wedge. I don't want to knock it off in the floor, but you see I've got a good fit right around that. Where it feathers out back this way should be fairly equal on both sides here. I'll go over and get a saw, and we'll saw that right straight down this way to the depth that we want it. You just pretty well find the center and go saw that out right there, and then saw another mark I make with a pencil to make that cross design right on the end of it like that. I'm going to use a walnut wedge. You'll see why in a minute. We're back with rubber gloves on. Everything's dry and smooth, and our slots are cut for the wedges, and we're going to wipe on some stain. We'll be letting it dry overnight. That way, come back in the morning, and it should be ready to get the final coat on it. And there we have it. We're going to let it dry with that stain on it overnight. I think everyone's going to like it. So here we are, and the stain is all dry, And what I do, since that stain raises the grain just a little bit, I put 400 grit sandpaper, and I just give it a good rub down all the way up and down the stick before I put the final finish on it. I'm going to put the rub on or wipe on poly just a little bit here. Now it's pretty slick. It just, the stain sometimes raises the grain a little bit, and this just smooths them out for your poly coating. Okay, here we are at our stage where we want to put on the final finish. I'm using the polyacrylic again today. I like this because it gives a good protective finish from the weather. I usually give it 3 coats. I'm not going to show all 3 coats, but I'm going to show you my one time because I want to introduce to you my method of how I do it. And all you need is your polyacrylic, of course, and your brush. I use this as my, just like I wipe on poly. I'm just telling you, you don't need to buy wipe on poly separately because you got it all in this one can. I'm going to demonstrate that. Now we don't care about the end of the stick up there. I'm not going to really dope it up really good, but I just apply it on liberally like this. You go right on down the stick, and you'll see what I get by wipe on. There's no problem at all. You don't want to sit on there a couple of minutes and then wipe it. It gets, the thin coats it dries pretty quick. Now what I do, after I wipe it from end to end with a brush, I just pick it up and wipe it down like this, and it gets a good even finish all the way down the stick. And you see, I don't try to wipe it dry, I just wipe it down to give me a good even finish. And you see I already have an eye hook in the end. I take it in my back room where it's dust free as much as possible, and I hang it up to dry. And this will be dry in about 4 hours. I usually let it dry longer than that, but you can tell. I check it from time to time to see how dry it is. And every time you wipe it, your coat gets a little thinner. Okay, I'm going to put it in the back room now, and we'll hang it up and be back when it gets dry. I have some wedges prepared ahead of time. They're out of walnut, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark the length that I want. That should work right there. I'll cut that off, and then we'll be back and see what it looks like. Drive that in as far as it will go. And that's going to tighten it right up on there. Now what we're going to do is we have 2 small pieces to put in across here. So let's do that now. Well, you got to mark them one at a time. Let me cut that one off. It's fairly narrow, and we'll get that one in. Now here's a wedge that I've made for the cross, and what I'm doing now is measuring it to where it just fits right across that opening. I have a piece of 80 grit sandpaper right there on my hand sander, and I'm just carefully taking a little off at a time like this. You kind of judge, you be the judge on how many attempts that you have there. Let's see, let's get that started a little bit. Yeah, I believe that's going to go all right. So I'm going to go ahead and drive that in. Now see, that won't exactly look so good on the top here till we cut it off slick, and it's going to leave a nice cross on there. So now I'm going to cut another narrow piece and right off of this. I use a longer piece of walnut like this, and I cut it off with a saw approximately the right width or close to it. and then I go over to the grinder, and I got something to hold on to on my sander. And my table sander, then I'll get this taper, and then we'll be ready to drive it in. Now you see I have a wedge that I cut off of this piece here, and leaving me just a short, narrow wedge that's already been fitted for the width here. So let's see if that fits right in there. So let's drive that one in. Okay. So it's kind of beat up on the end, but you can start to see our cross on the end of it. Now what I'm going to do is go over there on a bandsaw, and I'm going to cut that fairly short, and we'll sand it down the rest of the way and see what it looks like. I'd like to tell you about the drawing now. The secret word is chocolate. I want you to use chocolate in the sentence about a walking stick. If you do that, your name is in the hat for the drawing. It's going to be a live stream Saturday at 4 o'clock, this coming Saturday. So now let's do this review and finish this thing up. Well, I guess that's about it for another walking stick video. And don't forget about our contest and get subscribed. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe too, because now you have to be a subscriber to be eligible for the drawing. If you're not a subscriber, your name will be taken out during the drawing. I described earlier in the video on how to enter the drawing. If anybody would rather have the $100 instead of a walking stick, let me know about that. And one more thing, the drawing is actually going to be next Saturday at 4 o'clock. So I'll either do a live stream if I can. If I can't, I'll do the video and post it immediately after 4 o'clock. So your comment has to be in this video, not future videos. It has to be this video. So subscribe, hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and we'll get on with this review. Now what I'm going to do first, I'm going to show you that cross on the end of this axe. I think it looks pretty nice. You say, well, why would I want an axe on a walking stick? Well, look at this. Makes a pretty good handle, hand grip. I leave these 52 inches long. They'll ship that way, so you can cut them off if you want to make a cane out of it, or if you want to just cut it off and make an axe handle, Nordic axe, that's fine too. Cut it any length you want. About 36 inches would make a nice cane. That gives you a good solid grip right there. And you also have something to protect yourself with if you need it. So anyway, these walking sticks were actually made by the Nordics, were used back in the centuries ago as a weapon and also as a tool. I have this flattened on the back here. This area here is going to be to drive nails with and such. You can use it as a hammer. You can use it as a whacker. Cut wood with it when you need it, whatever you want to do. But the main thing is be safe with it. And as you're walking like this, if you happen to fall, you're falling on the axe this way. It's not back this way. You're not going to carry it this way. It's very uncomfortable to have. You'll have the axe edge away from you. And I think it's a pretty nice walking stick myself. Has a nice finish, 52 inches long. And there's the design. Let's see if we can get it in the light just right. There's a wolf in that one, all the way up with some Celtic markings. And also this one has a little skull and some bones and flames coming out the back of its head. That took some time to do that. And that's going to be in a following video on how that was done. With that, I'd like to say, don't forget about the drawing and get your name in the hat. I assume you've already subscribed, so only one thing left to do, and that's to say, I'll see you in the next video.